What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, it is appreciated, and today we are adding a bunch of new parts to my Nissan 350Z. So the parts that we are doing today are some updating of a couple of pieces that definitely needed a refresh just because of how they looked and how bad they were, as well as some carbon fiber pretty much rounding out the rest of the carbon that I actually wanted for my 350Z, as well as some performance mods. And it's actually been a long time since I've done anything performance related, like my exhaust, my headers, all that stuff was years ago. Honestly, I wasn't even intending to buy this part, but I found a decent deal already on Facebook Marketplace, shot him a low-ballish offer, which he accepted. So I'm actually going to be meeting up with him tomorrow to pick this part up, and I'm really interested to see whether this is actually going to change the performance of my car and the sound and everything else, which you guys will see what it is. So I'll pick this back up tomorrow when I'm meeting him. They didn't have a 16 pack, so I got the guy a 30 pack. If you guys are wondering why I got a 30 pack of Miller Lights, I had offered the guy $100 less than what he's asking for this part, and he said he'd take it, but also wanted an 18 pack of Millers. So I went ahead and got him a 30 pack because they didn't have the 18. But like a case of beer plus like $100 off, that's a good deal to me. Yeah, what's up, man? It's definitely used. Could use a new gasket. Do you think AutoZone would have a new gasket?
Kinetix Manifold gasket? Yeah, probably just have to glass one.
But
we'll polish it.
Yeah.
I've never seen one, and that's the part I wanted for my car.
Alright, now that we have returned with the intake manifold, we are actually going to start working on the Z, starting with my headlights. They're just scratched up, they don't look that great anymore, and they just have definitely been beaten on by the sun, so it's definitely time to get these replaced. But the most important reason, and I wish I could show you right now, but these headlights, the headlight bulbs that are in there right now are awful. It is really, really bad anytime that I go to drive. Jonathan saw how bad it was just the other night. But
yeah, it was the worst thing in the history of the planet.
Yeah, literally turning my headlights on, you can't see anything. Turning my brights on changes nothing. Like, they are awful. I'd be better taking my cell phone out of my pocket, putting it out of the window, and shining that on the street, and I'd probably have as much light. That's how bad they are. So these are a must-fix item today.
And let me tell you guys something that this man did too. He decided to, he goes, should I buy intakes for my Q or should I buy headlights for my Z? And we're driving and there's like the lights, like not joking, like where this rock is. And I was like, you should buy headlights for your car.
Yeah, but funny enough that it's actually kind of bittersweet if you think about it, Jonathan, because this is the first item we're working on today to kind of put my Z into its final form. But the headlights are also the very first thing that me and Jonathan ever did on my car together, because after we became friends, I helped him with his fenders. He helped me modify my headlights, and here we are again,
modifying your headlights
for the final journey, man, of this car. It's bittersweet.
Yeah, and in the time that you've done this, I've owned 3 cars.
Yeah, well, I've had this for 11 years and have just continued to work on it. Crazy. So these are brand new headlights we're going to be using. Honestly, we're really just going to be using the lens itself because these are the older DE style headlights, so this little centerpiece is smaller and they just don't look as good, but the lens itself looks great and the housing looks great. So if we can, we're going to use like all the plastics, all the like mounting points, all that stuff from these ones instead of my old ones. But if we can't, then it's just going to be the lens, and then of course again the updated halos and updated RGB strip. So while I start taking off my current headlights off of my car, Jonathan is going to be working on separating these. That way we can try and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So day 2 currently of working on the Z, more specifically day 2 of working on the headlights so far. So I believe I told you guys yesterday we were trying to take all the innards out of my old headlights and transfer everything over to the new ones because these guys were broken on my old ones. But unfortunately we weren't able to get it done. We made a bunch of custom modifications to make it work, but the housing itself is different. The size, the shape is exactly the same, but like these inside plastics were like the edges are different and it's stopping them from actually connecting. So what we're currently doing is clearing all the gunk out of the old headlights, because as it was like we were still new to doing this, there was a lot. This is from one headlight, and if you're never done a set of headlights, this is way too much butylene to use in a headlight. So currently clearing all that out, then we're going to put everything back together and get these guys fully done and put on. But they're done. They look really good, just like this so far. We tested the RGB halos, and the like startup animation, everything was pretty nice. They look pretty good. And then the main thing is them actually being, you know, fitted and sealed all the way back. So just when we did a fit test on the car last time, it looked really good. So hyped to get these on. We're gonna get them put on the car, start wiring everything up, and then from there, I think maybe we'll start on the intake manifold if we've got time. So that's what we're going to be working on for today. To install the intake manifold, obviously we got to take off the old cover, the old manifold, and my cold air intake. I actually bought a new one that is in that box right there. I told you guys in a couple videos back that I wanted to replace this anyways, because Vegas, I'm pretty sure there's still dirt stuck in my filter and in this, so it's better just to get rid of it. And all these couplings are all old, so better to just replace it. It's been like 21 years, Jonathan. It's not my fault. Granted, I probably should have cleaned it, but as you can tell, my throttle body is disgusting. Thankfully, Jonathan already had some cleaner because he cleaned his out not too long ago. So we're cleaning this out, and I'm sure that mixed with everything else that we're doing in this video will help my Z perform better.
Good. My performance render's off.
Oh, nice. Another major piece taken off. Hopefully you guys can see it okay. It's a little dark in the garage at the moment, but really cool. Out of 11 years, this is the furthest I've gone into this motor. Definitely needed cleaning on some of the items as I showed you guys, but essentially this is where the new intake manifold is going to go and attach to, and should look pretty cool. It's been a little while of us trying to get this. You guys probably can't see too well on camera, but two of these bolts are like under these guys, which makes it difficult to get the Allen wrench to actually tighten them and not strip them. So Jonathan had to like shove his hand under this way, start threading, and then like be in a weird angle, but shout out to Jonathan, he got it done. So this is finally on. Now that this is done, we can reconnect the hoses, bypass the two coolant lines, and then put my cold air back on, and from there should be good to go. Alright, I know this isn't the greatest footage right now because of the sun just peering down and piercing the engine bay, but we're gonna do our first start, listen for any leaks, anything like that, and then from there, if everything's good, then we can do like the sound test and actually take it out on the street and test it.
It sounds different.
All right, so far it seems like everything is okay. It was idling a little odd, but now's like the time for the actual test drive. Hopefully you guys can see me okay. But we're gonna see one, whether the car is working correctly, but two, if we do actually notice a horsepower difference.
I think it sounds a little different, if I'm being honest. Like your exhaust definitely has a different tone to it.
Yeah. When I added the headers, it like made it deeper, and I think this just gave it a deeper tone as well. That was weird. So I hate to admit it, but it almost seemed a lot slower up until like 4,000 RPMs, which is kind of what they said, but it was like noticeable. So I'm gonna let this car go. I'm gonna give it a little bit of the beans here, and one, hopefully everything's okay, and two, hopefully I can actually notice a difference.
Tell.
Yeah.
But like for the most part though, it seems like we put everything on right. Like it's not idling funny now.
Yeah, that's good at least. I
think it just had to learn the part though, because I reset your idle completely too.
Yeah, I think so too. See, it's like out of the exhaust that it's like popping in the exhaust. I will say there, I can feel it. My butt dyno was able to feel it at that time. I'm a little happier. Like, it was definitely pretty torquey there. Did you feel anything different?
The torque on it felt a lot different. Than, like, it sat me in my seat a lot more.
Yeah, like it pushed me back, which generally doesn't happen. Granted, I don't launch this car that often, but it, like, my butt went, like, it slid.
For me,
just
my
a little
head
bit.
went back a lot more than it normally does in a stock Z.
All right, Manifold, all right. Not bad. So hopefully all that footage in there was okay. I know the windows were down for most of the clips. I will do what I can with the audio there. But on the first initial drive, I was a little sad. There seemed to be a major power loss. I don't know if it just needed to warm up to the manifold or if it's because, like, the RPM range that I was currently in. But after that, once I did some launches from a dig and downshifting, it definitely picked up. Like, it felt really good. I noticed a torque difference. Like, my butt slipped back a little bit, so my butt dyno was happy.
I noticed a little bit of difference too. I think the other thing too, though, I reset his idle completely, so I don't know if that had to do with anything, and his car just had to, like, relearn his idle while driving, so if that made a difference.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of, you know, stuff that played into changing this that could affect the car and have it, like, needing to warm up to it. I get some people might prefer just the spacer over this if it gives roughly the same feeling, just because of the price difference. But if you want something that looks really nice, if you want something that changes the tone, I haven't watched the sound clips yet, but I think the sound's a little different.
I do too.
And then something that gives you a more even power band and at least your butt dyno can feel it slightly. This is definitely, like, I'm happy that I got it. I'm even happier that I didn't pay full price for it, and that everything works. We put everything back together correctly, and that, as of right now, there's no issues. Also makes me happy that eventually when I boost the car, this is just going to help it even further. All right, a couple days later, now that the intake manifold has been added to the car, we have some more carbon pieces that we're going to be adding to the Z, which is actually going to finish off pretty much the carbon that I want on my Z. And that's what all these boxes are, including this one that says Fragili.
It's Fragili because it's Italian.
Yeah, that's right. So I will unbox that in a minute, but what it is a new carbon roof cap to get rid of this fake carbon that is just vinyl wrap. Go ahead and do the honors, because I know you've been dying to
It's already peeling, that's why.
pull it. Dang, that's why I forgot how white the car was underneath. But
Today, honestly, would be a good day to unwrap my car too. Just like,
yeah.
I don't want to though.
Sponsored by Brom. Just kidding, but also not really, because I am sponsored by Brom.
I was too.
But just in case you're new to the channel, there is what my car used to look like versus the gray.
Dang it. So the gray looks better.
I agree. Sheesh. Nice new carbon roof cap. Can see my reflection in that.
Now hopefully this one doesn't fly off like mine did.
No, it won't, because we got the proper stuff. So what he is referring to is Jonathan actually used to have a carbon roof cap just like this on his 350Z. And the first time that he put it on his car, he used like JB Weld stuff from AutoZone.
Because I didn't want to put it on because I didn't want to pay for the price of normal panel bonder.
Yeah, so he used like JB Weld stuff instead of actual panel bonder. And he's going down the road one day and the roof cap literally just flew off and hit the freeway and shattered into a bunch of pieces. We actually repaired it and like with fiberglass, and then he relaid it in carbon, and it didn't look too bad once we repaired it, but definitely had to buy the right stuff to make sure that mine doesn't come flying off, which is this 3M panel bonder, in case you are wondering or doing this yourself. Heck yeah, dude. This is one of those parts like I really never was interested in that he had, and I never thought like, oh, that's not necessary. But as I've been modifying my car and I had the roof black, and I really was striving to make every piece of the car that was on the car black carbon, this is definitely a must. And this looks so much better than the wrap because it has the same gloss and it looks correct and it's obviously real. So really happy with this.
Like right there. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. I'm used to that motion.
Sure. Okay, so roof cap is currently on. A little ghetto how we are having it held down, but some C-clamps up in the front, as well as just some rocks and some heavier stuff that we got. This is gonna sit like this for about 4-ish hours or so. And then from there, it should be good to go, at least like to take the rocks off. Probably won't drive it on the freeway or anything for at least a day. But now that that's on, got a couple other small carbon pieces that we're going to throw on just to complete the carbon on my Z. First one being new carbon fiber eyelids. Just kidding, they send me cracked carbon eyelids. So these are getting returned and a new set will come in eventually. And what these guys are is carbon to go here. I already have the carbon caps here as well as on the inside of that same pillar. Hopefully you can see it, but I have carbon there as well.
Carbon everywhere.
Yep. All right, and that's it. Really just simple little piece, nothing too crazy, but again, my goal is really just every piece on this car that's black to be carbon. Every black accent that you see is carbon. The literal only piece that's black that isn't carbon is these vents, which we will fix eventually whenever we rewrap the car or paint the car. Those will also be carbon. Also, speaking of carbon, I have these front winglets I've been working on for the sides of the front lip, and they will help like the front canards that we built and the side canards just flow. So a couple days later, and I got in the final parts that I wanted to finish off this video. Now, although this by itself looks really good, I did go ahead and buy some other parts to make the engine bay even cleaner. First off is this cover from Z1 that is going to go right here. That polished look of that mixed with everything else is going to look really nice. Next up is a coolant overflow can to replace this guy because one, this one just doesn't look as nice as the new one, and two, there's a big old hole right there and the cap is like broken, so this just needs to be replaced. And then speaking of coolant, the last thing that I got is a bunch of new coolant hoses that are going to help bring this all together. All right, guys, and that is going to be it for today's video. Again, I wasn't really planning on doing motor mods in this video, just kind of worked out that way, which ended up just finishing off more of this car than I anticipated, which is great because the end goal is to have every single part of this car modified. I don't want to sell it. I really want to build a fully custom from top to bottom 350Z. And honestly, it's pretty surreal because I've owned the car now for 11 years and I've modified almost every single thing that I can. It's got custom seat brackets that we built by hand. Like every aftermarket piece that I bought pretty much has also then been modified again by me. It might not be everybody's taste, but this car is truly one of a kind and the only Z like it in the world. And we're not finished yet. We still have the Garrett Turbo sitting in the garage that is going in the car at some point. The plan for the Garrett Turbo is hopefully by the end of this year, I can get that in, but we did plan our Japan trip. We're leaving to Japan in about 42 days or so. So that's where a lot of the finances went towards the Japan trip instead of a turbo. But the goal is still to try and get this boosted by the end of the year, or at least by the turbo kit and start the process, which the intake manifold that we installed was actually a stepping stone to that, as I kind of touched on, because it's known to be good for boost, which again, will help with that Garrett Turbo. But if you guys made it to the end of the video, I just wanted to say a huge thank you again. thank you for being on the journey with me for my 350Z. It has been 11 years in the making. So please hit the subscribe button if you're not already. As I said, we are leaving to Japan in about 42 days, which I am so excited. We got a bunch of car stuff planned and I can't wait to share that trip with you guys. And in the background, I've been working on the Q50. You guys might have saw that. We got the 280ZX, the Tempest. We still got tons of builds. Even though this is almost finished and I'm running out of things to modify on this, we still got multiple cars. The content's still going to be coming out. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any. So once again, thanks for watching. I appreciate you and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.